Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3, he's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. So we will get to the Super Bowl. That was an outstanding game. But before that, we got to talk about the latest news in the NFL, and that is Derek Carr. Yesterday, he was released by the Las Vegas Raiders, and we'll see what ends up happening with him. It looks like the favorites to sign him are probably the three AFC South teams, the Bucs, the Saints, and the Panthers. But the Raiders, by doing this, saved $29 million in cap space. They don't have to pay Derek Carr's guaranteed salary for the next 2 years. So the Raiders, yes, they don't get value for this, but it definitely looks like they are moving on from Derek Carr, and they're rebuilding. And the big question is where is Derek Carr going to go next? Is it going to be the Panthers? Is it going to be the Bucs? Is it going to be the Saints? Or is it going to be the Jets? Or is it going to be the Commanders? I don't think it's going to be the Jets, because I think they're looking at Aaron Rodgers. I think the Commanders, they've been talking about Sam Howell being their starter for the future. Then you look at a team like teams like the Bucs and the Saints. They are way over the cap, like $55 million over the cap. So the last logical answer is the Panthers, and I think it's going to be the Panthers. I think it's going to be the Carolina Panthers. I think where they are in the draft, being number 9, it's going to be they would have to go all the way to 1 to probably get the guy they'd want. If they stay at 9, they'd probably be getting Anthony Richardson, who's going to be a project. It's going to take a year. So I think it's going to be the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to be the team that eventually signs Derek Carr, and it wouldn't be a bad move. They definitely would be the best team in the South. Their defense is not terrible. They got good players like Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Jeremy Chin, and J.C. Horn. Then you look at the fact they did get rid of McCaffrey, but they finished the year 6-5, and in 6 of the in their last I think 10 games, they ran the ball for over 100 yards 7 times with Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman, and they went 6-1 in those games. So they figured out a running game with those two guys. So I think my prediction is I think he goes to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought maybe the Saints last week, but yeah, with the salary cap where it is for the Saints and all that, I think it'd be pretty tough to maneuver that. So Carolina makes the most sense for them. And yeah, Carolina would be definitely be the favorites in the NFC South now. Yeah, they finished the season playing better under their interim coach. Kind of got things going. That young defense is still improving, but They got some pretty good talent over there. So yeah, I think Carr going to the Panthers fits. Darnold didn't play horrible, but that's not your long-term option. Again, this gives you a couple years with their Carr. Then you could kind of figure out your future plan. Or, I know they have Matt Corral. Maybe they do like him in the future. I don't think he'd be the long-term answer, but he's still there. But yeah, it gives them a couple years with their Carr. For just for a couple years, and you kind of figure out where you want to go from there.
Absolutely. And I think what we got to get to what the Raiders do next at the quarterback position. And I think it's going to be either sign Jimmy Garoppolo or draft someone, or they could do both. They could sign Jimmy Garoppolo and they could draft a Will Levis and have like Levis sit a year and learn under Garoppolo and then have Levis be their guy. But the obvious move for the Raiders, they are rebuilding. They're rebuilding right now. And they now got a good amount of cap space, so I think they're going to sign Josh Jacobs. But I think the best move for the Raiders right now is not to trade up from 7 to 1. I think to take a Levis, to take a Richardson, maybe have him that guy sit a year, and maybe draft a Garoppolo that they could, and maybe sign a Garoppolo that both one of those two guys can learn under.
Yeah, absolutely. Garoppolo obviously played under Josh McDaniels when he's with the Patriots as the offensive coordinator, so they already have that familiarity. And also Garoppolo, the one problem with Garoppolo is we kind of know the injury history that he's had, but yeah, he's not a bad option there for at least a year. Then you go out and draft somebody at either 7, with that pick there, or you want somebody else, I'd go second round. Jake Haener. He's not, I think somebody could be a long-term option there as well. But yeah, I think Garoppolo or the draft are probably the Raiders' 2 best hopes right now. I know Adams is in he wants to stay on the new quarterback as well. I don't think Rodgers is I don't think the Raiders have what it takes to be able to trade Rodgers, but maybe Adams kind of talks Vegas into doing that. But yeah, I think most likely it's either Garoppolo or drafting somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, this is not a surprise. We knew after that 3-pick game against the Steelers, the Raiders were thinking about moving on. They were thinking about They definitely wanted to move on. They benched him the last 2 weeks. They played Jarrett Stidham. That was the signal that the Raiders were moving on. They are. And Garrett Carr is a good quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. He needs a really, really good team around him. And I think the best chance for him to win, for me, in my opinion, would be the Jets because he has that defense around him. But it just doesn't seem like he's likely to go there. I think the most likely destination is going to be those three NFC South teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see Carr go in an organization that could help him win and be able to get the talent, the most talent out of him. I think at times in Vegas and Oakland, they just could not do that, for talent that they've had. Again, they've missed on so many first-round picks over the years. It really hasn't helped them. But yeah, the Jets would be the best spot. But yeah, I think they're gonna probably go all in for Rodgers here. So yeah, one of those 3 NFC South teams make the most sense. And whatever one he goes to, he makes them the favorite in each one of the 3 probably.
Oh, absolutely. That team's absolutely the favorite because that division is absolutely terrible. And if he goes there, that team is going to be a 500, like a 8-9 win team. He'll make that team an 8-9 win team. I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but he definitely would make them the best team in the South and an 8 or 9 win team.
Yeah, he absolutely would. He definitely would. Cause yeah, that division's got some work to do there. I know Atlanta's kind of breaking out a new quarterback. Carolina, we saw get better throughout the year. The Saints kind of had a down year. The Bucs obviously was a disappointment for him throughout the year 1. So yeah, absolutely. He wherever whatever team he goes to in that division, if it's there, he's absolutely gonna help them or put that team as the division favorite.
Absolutely. So now we got to get to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs win their 2nd Super Bowl in 4 years, beating the Eagles 38-35. Great game, outstanding game. Both quarterbacks were phenomenal. Jalen Hurts was outstanding, almost 400 all-purpose yards, had 4 total touchdowns. He was phenomenal in the game. Mahomes was really, really good in the game as well. Obviously, the Eagles took the early lead, and then the Chiefs came back, and then we had that play at the end, and then we had the controversial play at the end, that holding call, at the end. And yes, it could have went either way. Yes, there might have been arguably a worse holding call on Bradbury in the second quarter on had a worse holding call on Juju, but they did call that they did call that flag. And in my opinion, it was a penalty. And I feel like it has to be called. It was clearly a penalty. Bradbury admitted it, and it has to be called. I know it took away the Jalen Hurts having the ball in his hands last, but for me, and yeah, maybe your opinion is valued a little bit more because you really didn't have an emotional attachment to the game. I'm a Giants fan. I hate the Eagles. So I didn't mind seeing them lose. I didn't even want to see Hurts have the ball in his hands at the end of the game. But I personally do feel like that was a penalty, and it has to be called. Before we get into our takeaways, Justin, what were your thoughts on that play at the end of the game?
Yeah, I thought it was a little tug. I thought you should have just kind of, especially you didn't call in the second quarter, you can't call it there. That's the big thing. If you called in the second quarter, I could make more of a case of, yeah, you could call it to kind of stay with the consistency. But because they didn't call it in the second, you can't call it there. And it kind of, again, who knows? Maybe the Eagles don't go down and score anyways, and the game still ends up being 35-38, but now we never know. So, yeah, I think they should have kept that one in the back pocket. I know he admitted it, but if he did in the second quarter, I think he got away with it. I don't know why you throw the flag there in a tie game on a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8, and with 2 minutes left. I don't think that was the right one. I think they should have kept that one in the back pocket.
I get what you're saying, and Smith-Schuster didn't call for the flag, but it was clearly a penalty. It was clearly a penalty on that play. I know a lot of people like you wanted to see Jalen Hurts have the ball in his hands on that last drive. You probably were really upset about the penalty because you wanted to see that last drive, Jalen Hurts with the ball in his hands to win the game because he deserved it the way he played. But by letter of the law, that is a penalty. You can't grab the guy. So,
and I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. But they didn't call in the second quarter, and it was pretty similar spot. That's why I'm saying I don't think you should, because I see what you're saying. And I think if they called in the second quarter, I'd be more okay with them throwing the flag there. But that because they didn't in the second, you got to stick with that consistency, especially that late in the game. And it kind of feels like, somewhat that, the game was determined right there. And I feel like that's the worst kind of possible outcome for such a great game that it was. I just think there you just gotta keep in the back pocket. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'd agree if they called in the second quarter. I'd agree with you, but I don't think that was the right call there.
Yeah. It was very controversial. It was a controversial way to end a great game, but still, it was an outstanding game. One of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. It was clearly the two best teams in football, and obviously one of the best games I've ever seen. So yeah, it was tough that that call had to be made right there, but it was the right call, and that's how it ended. But we'll get to our We're going to get to our takeaways of the game, and I'll start with them. We'll get to our 5 takeaways of the game, and for me, number 5 was how amazing Jalen Hurts was in that game, and really how Jalen Hurts has proved that he's a top 5 quarterback. He clearly is a top 5 quarterback in this league. He was outstanding in the Super Bowl, and he was outstanding all season long. There was a reason he was in the MVP conversation. He just had a phenomenal season. I mean, amazing. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards, 304 yards, had almost 400 all-purpose yards, 4 total touchdowns. Phenomenal performance by Jalen Hurts in that game. I mean, for Eagle fans and for fans that weren't Giants, Commanders, Chiefs, and Cowboy fans, they were robbed of seeing him. They probably thought they were robbed of seeing him having the ball in his hands at the end of the game. But phenomenal performance by Jalen Hurts. Number 4, Jonathan Gannon did not coach a good game for the Eagles. He did not coach a good game for the Eagles, especially in the second half. He didn't blitz at all. That was the number one thing. And then, all right, you get beat once with a Tony touchdown. But on the second touchdown by Sky Moore, you get beat on the same play. You made no adjustments. Really was not a good game for Jonathan Gannon. And Eagle fans, there are some Eagle fans that are happy he's going to Arizona now. This was not a good game at all for Jonathan Gannon. That's takeaway number 4 for me. Number 3, I'm gonna 2 and 3. I'm gonna go to my keys of the game last week. Number 3, a big key to the game was were the Chiefs gonna be able to run the ball? They absolutely did. Between McKinnon and Pacheco, they ran for 118 yards. And the key drive for the Chiefs was that first possession of the second half. And they ran the ball 6 times for 35 yards. They were able to run the ball on that drive, and that was so key because they needed to come out with points on that drive. If the Chiefs didn't come out with points on that drive, they're losing that game. That was so crucial for them to come out with points on that drive because they did not want to. They did not want to get way behind against that Eagles pass rush. So they was, and they were able to run the ball, which was really, really key. They were able to have that. They were able to run the ball, and that last drive too. The Chiefs being able to run the ball was very, very key in this game because it definitely negated the Eagles pass rush. And that leads me to my second takeaway of the game was the Chiefs offensive line was outstanding. They did not allow a sack of Patrick Mahomes. And that was against the best defensive line in football. The Chiefs offensive line did an outstanding job in that game. And that was a big reason they were able to move the ball the way they were in the second half. I mean, it just was a phenomenal job by that offensive line, keeping Mahomes mostly clean in that game. And then lastly, Patrick Mahomes was outstanding in the second half. 13 for 14 through 2 touchdown passes. He was absolutely phenomenal. He deserved the MVP of the game. And let's be honest, this win puts him in the conversation with the great quarterbacks in this league. Justin, your takeaways.
Mine, also Mahomes, again, every play he had to make, he made in that game. Again, even when he had to kind of take off and run, he was able to, make a play on the ground and help his team out. Yeah, Mahomes, there's not too much more you could say about him. That's already been said, so far in his young career. Yeah, my second one was the Eagles. The pass rush, the Chiefs offensive line did a great job, and thought was going to be a huge factor in the game, and it was. The Eagles got 0 sacks, first time all year. And it's a team that was averaging over 4 sacks a game. They really did nothing. And, they were kind of kept off balance too with the way the Chiefs ran the football. It was definitely a tough night for the Eagles. And that helped where Mahomes just had wide open guys all day. Number 3 for me was Kelsey and Juju Smith. They both had tremendous games. Kelsey found an opening, wherever in the middle of the field. They just, the Chiefs just had a lot of guys kind of just running free all day. And, the Eagles just had a rough time trying to slow him down. Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts also. I thought that was the best game he's played throughout his career, or so far in his young career. The one fumble I know hurt, obviously, but again, he came right back down the field and he went and scored a touchdown. So I thought Hurts had a great game. I was not surprised that he wasn't afraid of the moment. And I thought Hurts played an outstanding game. Tough. Who knows what happened? He got the ball down. If he got the ball there with one shot there to try to win it or try to force overtime. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, again, the future's bright for him in Philly. And, Jalen Hurts played a phenomenal football game.
Yeah, it was an outstanding game for both teams. And Hector just said Philly was so good that the Chiefs had to play a perfect second half, no punts, just to win by 3. Much respect to the Eagles, and he's 100% right there. He's 100% right there. The Chiefs didn't punt in the second half, and they had to be really, really good to beat a team that had their quarterback play absolutely phenomenal, and Jalen Hurts, and they were. That's why this was that's why this was a phenomenal Super Bowl. That's why this was one of the best Super Bowls ever, was just the way both teams played in this game.
Yeah, absolutely was. The Eagles they got the 10-point start. It kind of felt like, the Eagles going to run away with this thing, but the Chiefs really battled back. Yeah, they played a phenomenal second half. They made a lot of adjustments, and Eagles couldn't really figure it out. And again, 3rd down, 4th down for the Chiefs kind of made that kind of stop there to be able to force a field goal there. The Eagles just weren't able to find that big kind of 3rd, 4th down stop they needed. And the Chiefs just, that second half was great. Tony on that big punt return as well, to kind of set them up there. And it was an absolutely phenomenal football game. And the Eagles played that one fumble was kind of the big down. And it's, it's unfortunate for such a great game that Jalen Hurts had.
Absolutely. Yeah. That fumble was big. That fumble was huge because you never know. It could have been a different game if that fumble doesn't happen. But still, I mean, just a phenomenal game by Jalen Hurts. But we got to talk about the winning quarterback and where he ranks all time. And right now, for me, I'm going to go 3. I'm going 3rd best quarterback of all time. I think this win. I think obviously Brady's number 1. going to be hard to pass him with 7 rings and him winning 6 of those 7 with the defensive head coach. I think that's it's going to be hard to pass Brady. Montana, I think he's got a good chance to pass Montana. I think maybe another ring he could pass Montana. He's got 4. And then I think this win, I think he passed Peyton Manning with this win. And I know Peyton won 5 MVPs and everything, but there's 2 reasons why. I think I think he's got a better arm than Peyton. I think he's more mobile than Peyton. He's more of a playmaker than Peyton, and he's been better in big games than Peyton's been. I mean, go back to his first year as a starter. He was phenomenal in the second half against the Patriots. He scored 31 points in 31 minutes. In then you go back to that playoff run in 2019. Outstanding. I mean, he brought them back from double digits from 2 scores down 3 times in those playoffs. And then he led him to a Super Bowl in 2020. And then last year, he brings a team down the field in 13 seconds for the game-tying field goal to keep their season alive. And then this year, without Tyreek Hill, he wins an MVP and wins a Super Bowl. I'm going top 3. I'm going third best quarterback of all time. And why I got him ahead of Peyton is if you look at Peyton Manning's career, even in those Super Bowl runs, he was not great in the Super Bowl. He had like 7 interceptions in the Super Bowl run in 2006 and in 2015. Come on. A lot of quarterbacks could have played with that defense and won a Super Bowl. So that was the least a quarterback did to win a Super Bowl since Brad Johnson or even Trent Dilfer in 2000. So I'm taking him over Peyton. I got him top 3. The only 2 guys that got Mahomes behind right now are Tom Brady and Joe Montana.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you got to put him third. Yeah, as you mentioned, the big, how he's kind of managed himself in big games is definitely better than Peyton was. Yeah, that 2015 one still kind of hurts that AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
9 sacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been outstanding in the big moment, big spot. Yeah, the 13-second drive he had last year at Buffalo is outstanding. And I just think it's a talent too, we really haven't seen a quarterback have all the tools that he's been able to. Again, he can throw the ball, 5 different kind of arm angles. The way he can kind of, he's a good mobile quarterback. Again, the arm talent that he has. Yeah, he's just a sensational quarterback. Again, him and Andy Reid, that's been a great combination for those 2. So yeah, he's again, in the moment, he has not let it get to him. And yeah, there's spots Peyton was not the best. So yeah, I think I'm with you. You kind of right now, I have to put him third all time.
I think you got to at least put him in the top 5 after this game. I think you could put him maybe below Peyton at 4. I don't know about Elway, but I think you got to at least put him top 5. This performance, the season he's had without Tyreek Hill, and many people weren't picking the Chiefs. A lot of people were picking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, a lot of people like me picked the Bengals to beat them in the AFC Championship game. I think this playoff run on one ankle too. Don't forget on one ankle definitely puts him in the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something. With losing Tyreek Hill, we've seen a couple of top quarterbacks lose their wide receivers and, did not have a great of a year. And, for the Chiefs, it's, maybe the Chiefs weren't as much of a downfield threat, passing wise than they usually are. But again, but they kind of figured out that offense with Juju and Marcus Vance-Scantling. Obviously having one of the best tight ends all time and Travis Kelce helps out as well. But yeah, Mahomes didn't lose a beat again, and he didn't even have the start even after losing Hill. Because we know 2021, kind of those first couple weeks there, they struggled. He didn't even really have much of that. Have that as much this year. He got in rhythm right away. So yeah, Mahomes is definitely should definitely be in the top 5.
Now the big question is, where does Andy Reid rank all time? And I wouldn't put Andy Reid in the I know we put Mahomes in the top 5 for quarterbacks of all time. I wouldn't put Andy Reid in the top 5 for coaches. I still think Belichick, Walsh, Knoll, Lombardi, and Shula, and even Gibbs and Landry are ahead of him. But this win definitely puts him in the top 10. What he did in Philadelphia, getting to 5 NFC championships. I know he didn't win a Super Bowl, but he got to 5 NFC championship games, and he got to a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. Then he came to Kansas City, and he took over a team that was 2-14. And even in the years before Mahomes got there, they had 4 straight winning seasons with Alex Smith. They got to the playoffs 3 times, and they won a playoff game. So he was really good. The 5 years before he had Mahomes as quarterback, he had 5 winning seasons, 4 playoff appearances, and 1 playoff win. So he was really good even the years before Mahomes. Then when Mahomes came, the team they took over. They took over the Patriots' reign as the kings of the AFC. I mean, 5 straight conference championship games. Andy Reid has been to 10 conference championship games, been to 4 Super Bowls, and won 2 Super Bowls. To me, he's clearly you could argue he's top 5. I don't think he's top 5, but he's clearly a top 10 coach.
Yeah, you got to put him in the top 10 at least. He's been he's won everywhere he's gone. That Chiefs team. Yeah, he came in 2-14. They needed kind of, they I know they got a couple playoff appearances there. They couldn't get over the hump, and he got Mahomes, and it's kind of been such a different story since then. So absolutely, he's won everywhere he went. He's gotten a couple Super Bowls with the Eagles. Now it's the Chiefs. He's won 2 of them. He's done a great job of, his offenses, are always some of the best in the league. He does a great job of game plan. Again, we kind of saw it Sunday night. There's, with the game plan and the routes that they had, the Eagles really didn't have many answers for it, and that's kind of what he's done throughout his career. He's always kind of developed great talent on the offensive side of the ball, and so I think Andy Reid definitely has to be up there as top 10 at least for all-time best coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll circle back to Hector's comment. We'll circle back to Mahomes a little bit. In my opinion, Mahomes is better than Montana. Comparing their first 5 seasons of their career when it comes to starts and team accomplishments, you definitely can make the argument Mahomes is better than Montana. I'm just still taking Montana because Montana won more Super Bowls. Montana still has 4 Super Bowls. He's got 2 or 3 Super Bowl MVPs. I know it's very close between the two, but I'm still going to take Montana. But I think Mahomes is very, very, like I said earlier, Mahomes is very, very close to passing him.
Yeah, Mahomes is getting up there, close to number 2. Yeah, Montana with the 4 Super Bowls. I definitely have him just a little bit low. Big reason why. But yeah, Mahomes, what he's done so far throughout his career, it's been outstanding. Yeah, he's getting close, and he's definitely got a chance to pass Montana very soon.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, both coaches, Reid and Mahomes, this was huge with their legacies because this win cemented that Mahomes is a top 5 quarterback of all time, and this win cemented that Andy Reid is a top 10 coach of all time. And I think this was such a huge win for Reid because say Reid loses this game. Say Andy Reid loses this game to the Eagles. That would have been 2 Super Bowls Reid would have lost to his old team. That would have definitely hurt his legacy. But this win really, really, really helped Andy Reid's legacy. It really, really was huge for Reid's legacy.
Yeah, it absolutely did. We talked about last week, going up against his former team, he kind of felt like he had to win this one. Going up to coach that first time in the Super Bowl, both teams were so evenly matched. It was awesome games we talked about. But yeah, this was kind of a big one that he needed this one to kind of, he did need this one to kind of cement it even better because to get another one with the talent that they had, it was definitely kind of a big one for Andy Reid to kind of help solidify his case to be one of the top 10 coaches all time.
Yeah, and I mean both of them together. I mean, I definitely think Mahomes is a little bit more responsible, but both of them together have really built what potentially could be a dynasty for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you're looking at a team now that could win. With Patrick Mahomes, they could win 3, 4, even 5 championships with how young Mahomes is.
Yeah, absolutely. They got him already that contract for 8, 9 more years. He's gonna be in Kansas at least, and you would think he'll be there even longer. So yeah, absolutely. What they got. AFC's got a lot of young talent, especially at quarterback. But yeah, the Chiefs are going to be the team to beat for a long time coming.
Yeah, they're the team to beat. I mean, the Bengals, the Bills, even now Jacksonville with Lawrence, the Chargers, they're all going to be contenders. But Kansas City is clearly the kings of the AFC and are going to be the clear favorite year in and year out with Mahomes.
Yeah, they absolutely will, and they deserve to be there. And being 5 straight AFC Championship games, Mahomes still has not played on the road yet in the playoffs, so yeah, until somebody, kind of takes them off there for a couple of years, they deserve to be the top team and team to beat year in, year out.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy he hasn't played a road game yet.
Yeah.
It is crazy he has not played a road game in the playoffs. And the thing is, three of the 5 years they've been the number one seed. It's so similar to what the Patriots are. They're starting to be so similar to what the Pats were with Brady.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy to see. I kind of hope they kind of slow it down a bit, but
Yeah.
It's been crazy. Again, the run they've been on here with the division titles, and kind of locking up that one seed. It's they're definitely kind of on that pace right now of going on a run like that. And again, their division, has got some young talent with Herbert. We'll see what Payton can do there with Russell Wilson. But the Chiefs right now kind of it's very similar, kind of the start that they've had with the Patriots kind of did as well for so long.
Absolutely. So now we got to get to two Eagles coordinators that the Eagles lost two coordinators this week, and they first was Shane Steichen. He was hired by the Colts, and I like this hire. I really like this hire for the Colts. Shane Steichen, I think, is deserving of a coaching job because of the way he developed two quarterbacks that were drafted in the 2020 draft class. Obviously, they know about Jalen Hurts. We know about Jalen Hurts, the way he developed Jalen Hurts, but he also developed Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had a really, really good rookie season. And a lot of people thought, outside of Burrow and Tua, he was gonna be the third guy in that class. And watched him play at Oregon, he was gonna be the third guy in that class. Yes, he still is the third best quarterback in the class, but he's had a really, really good start. I know he blew a 27-0 lead. I know he hasn't won a playoff game yet, but he's had a really, really good start to his career. So, and both those quarterbacks, Hurts and Herbert, were developed by this guy. And what's been the Colts' issue for years, ever since Andrew Luck retired? Finding a quarterback. If it was Jacoby Brissett starting 1 year, or if it was Phillip Rivers, or if it was Carson Wentz, or it was Matt Ryan, it's been a merry-go-round of quarterbacks for the Colts. That's got to stop. I think this year the Colts will maybe trade up to get Bryce Young, or maybe draft the Will Levis, number 4 overall. And I think they hired the right guy to develop that player. I think that this is a really good hire for the Colts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you. Yeah, the way he's developed, Jalen Hurts this year, Justin Herbert, the year before that in 2020 or for his rookie year, he's been out. He's done a really good job. And yeah, as you mentioned, the Colts have not been able to kind of get that quarterback position right. They've tried all the veteran options, but yeah, it really hasn't gone the way that they've been hoping for. And yeah, you get a young guy like this, to come in, and yeah, assume they're going to draft a quarterback and try to kind of figure it out, and hopefully that he's the guy that kind of fit and rebuild here. And again, we'll be interested to, in this kind of division. I know Jacksonville's kind of on the rise here, but outside of that, I know with Vrabel and Tennessee, again, they're always kind of going to be in the playoff spot, kind of be battling for the playoffs. But second place right now, it's kind of up for grabs in the division. And they can bring in a young rookie quarterback that will definitely help out, and hopefully he'll be able to develop him, and the Colts will finally have that quarterback they were looking for the last couple of years.
Yeah, they got to get it. This is the offseason. They need to get that quarterback, but I think they got the right guy to develop that quarterback in Steichen. Now, another Eagles coordinator was hired yesterday, and that was Jonathan Gannon. He is now the new head coach of the Cardinals, and I have a little bit of a different opinion of this hire. I'm not the biggest fan of this hire, especially when you have a guy like Eric Bieniemy, who's won 2 Super Bowls as a coordinator. You don't even give him an interview, and you saw the way Eric Bieniemy owned Jonathan Gannon in the Super Bowl, and you hired this guy as a head coach. I'm not a big fan of this hire. Yes, his defense was really good this year, but that defense had a ton of talent. This guy made absolutely no adjustments in the second half of that Super Bowl, and he's probably the biggest reason why the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. And as we said earlier in the show, I think all the Eagle fans are happy that this guy is gone, and a lot of Eagle fans aren't really going to miss him that much. So, but for this hire, the biggest thing here is who's the offensive coordinator going to be, and can he work with Kyler Murray? That is going to be the key to this hire. But I'm not a big fan of the hire because I think there were better candidates out there. Lou Anarumo, I thought, was a better candidate. Michael Kafka, you could argue, you could argue that one. But we all know a guy that didn't even interview would have been a much better candidate for this job, and that's Eric Bieniemy. I'm just not a fan of hiring Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, this one was more of a questionable one. I know that the Cardinals defense was atrocious last year. I think they gave up, second most points in franchise history. Um, but yeah, with all that talent the Eagles defense had, they really could not stop Mahomes in that offense at all Sunday night. And I think, now you're walking into a situation where you don't have much talent on that defensive side, and you just lost JJ Watt, who's one of the best edge guys that we've had in a while. And yeah, obviously it really comes down to who's the offensive coordinator here, and how they kind of handle Kyler Murray and how they kind of fix this offense around him. But and kind of the relationship, because it sounds like Kingsbury and Murray kind of that relationship soured here the last year of what I've read. But yeah, it kind of depends on all that. But yeah, Bieniemy, I'm surprised really hasn't gotten a chance to be. It's a weird one why he hasn't gotten the chance yet. But yeah, I think for Arizona, definitely, I think this one's a little bit more questionable, especially again, they probably saw it front and center because they're playing in Arizona. And I don't, that hire wasn't, I thought wasn't the best after what I saw Sunday night.
Yeah, I wonder if he got on the plane right, if he even took the plane ride home back to Philly. I don't know if he even did. I think he just stayed out in Arizona. I think he just stayed out there. Yeah, exactly. I think I wonder if he took the plane back home to Philly, because I don't know if he really wanted to be back on that plane, seeing the game plan he had on Sunday night.
Yeah, I don't know, because that was not great. And you mentioned they did not fix anything out there Sunday night. Yeah, they got kind of yeah, that was a rough one. You wonder if he was kind of touring the stadium around halftime, kind of figure out where his office is.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Oh my God! Oh, man, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, that was that was a brutal game plan for him, and yeah, not fixing anything either did not help much. I don't blame Eagles fans.
No, not at all, not at all. But KD is back in the West, and we're going to recap the first half of the NBA season. But before we do that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All righty, so Kevin Durant is in a new location on really right when our show ended last week. He was traded to the Phoenix Suns, and the Nets the Suns traded Cam Johnson and Markelle Bridges to the Nets. And for the Suns right now, I mean, they look like they are in great shape. I mean, with Devin Booker, with Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton, this Suns team looks like they're the clear favorite to win the Western Conference and win the NBA championship. I think Adding Kevin Durant makes them the favorite. They got to the NBA Finals 2 years ago and lost. They had the best record in the NBA last year. They lost to the Mavericks in the first round. But now they have that top 10 player that they need to win a championship. In the 40-year history, in the last 40 years, there's really only one team that's won a championship, maybe two that have won a championship without a Pistons and the 2014 Spurs. Now the Suns have their top 10 player that can get them over the hump. That's what they missed when they were up 2-0 against the Bucks in the NBA Finals, or last year when they were up 2-0 against the Mavs in the playoffs. That's what they missed. Now they got that guy in Kevin Durant.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Suns, it's a home run. And you didn't even have to lose DeAndre Ayton, who's one of the better centers.
I thought for sure they were going to lose him.
Yeah,
I thought for sure they were going to lose Ayton.
So too. Yeah, I thought so too. I'm stunned that they did not have to get rid of him in this deal and trade him. But yeah, Durant, again, he hasn't even come back yet. I know Booker just came back and they've won 7 out of their last 9. So the team that's starting to get it together, and Paul's not the scorer that he once was, but last night he had 19 assists and, Booker went off last night. So yeah, this Suns team, I think you do have to put them as a favorite. They got all the talent in the world. And again, there's, when, and when Durant comes back, you got him in that starting lineup, Ayton, Booker, and Paul, and there's not too many better fours than that right there. So yeah, I think the Suns right now got to be the favorite. They've been kind of knocking on the door here the last couple of years, and so far, it kind of right now, kind of looking at things, as long as injuries don't kind of happen here, or they should be the favorite. And the West, I feel like it is really wide open with the Warriors kind of having a down year. The Nuggets are, again, having a great season, but we've kind of know what's happened to them in the playoffs. Obviously the Grizzlies have been playing well of late, but after kind of struggle there for a while. But yeah, I think the Suns right now got to be the favorite to win the NBA.
The other question is where do the Nets go from here? I think they're rebuilding, but do they even end up making the play-in tournament this year? Right now, they're still in the top 5 in the East, but I think watching that team on Monday night against the Knicks, I think they're going to slip. I really think the Nets are going to slip, and I would not be surprised if they finish in the 9th or 10th in the Eastern Conference, but I do still think they make the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I think they get in the play-in tournament just because, they're up. They're up like 6 games of the Wizards, who are in 10th right now. So I think they find a way to kind of stay in that within the play-in. But yeah, I think they come 9th or 10th there. It's unfortunately they're going to go through another rebuild process here. They got some picks coming up, but we'll see what they kind of do with them here. But yeah, a team kind of led with you got Dinwiddie's not a bad player, and Bridges aren't a bad isn't a bad player here. But yeah, I think that Nets team's gonna finish 9th or 10th and probably get eliminated in the play-in round.
Yeah, I agree. So now getting to the All-Star break, we're going to give out some awards. We're going to start out with our most surprising team of the first part of this season. And I know it's not the first half because they're almost like 2/3 of the way done, but I consider always the All-Star break kind of the first half. So we're going to talk about our most surprising team and our most disappointing team. We're going to start with our most surprising team. I think this one's pretty obvious. I think it's your team. I think it's Sacramento Kings. I think the way Sabonis has played, he's been really good this year. DeAndre Fox had a really good year, and they've added shooters around. They have shooters around them with Keegan Murray, with the Harrison Barnes and Hunter. So they got shooters around those two. Those two guys are not good 3-point shooters, but they have shooters around them to help them. And yes, this team probably won't win a round in the playoffs, but I feel like for the first time in almost 15 years, or even further than that, maybe 20 years, this franchise is going in the right direction with Mike Brown as head coach.
Yeah, it has. I've actually been pretty much watching like every King game, and I've never really done that through since I've been a fan. It's been 11, 12 years. It's been a great year. Yeah, they're my most surprising team as well. De'Aaron Fox leads the NBA in clutch points. He's got 148. And second place is actually your Nick Jalen Brunson with 25. Again, he's been disrespected again, not being voted in. I know he got in as reserve, but he's had an awesome year. In big spots, Kevin Huerter's been a nice addition to this team. Keegan Murray's been just kind of plug and play guy, at the 4 spot for him. Again, the defense needs a lot of work, and that's what worries me. They just their defense is atrocious, but their offense.
You have the right coach with Mike Brown.
Yeah, they started out 0-4, and I was already on the get rid of Mike Brown, get rid of Fox. I was kind of, because they were 0-4, and I was kind of like this. whenever I have hope, it usually kind of falls apart. But they've been awesome. Mike Brown's actually called like 3 timeouts this year, like the Jim Calhoun timeouts. They give up like an early layup or dunk 10 seconds in. He's called the timeout, but they still go on to give up 130. But the only thing is, the defense has to get better. Analytically, I've seen that it's getting a little bit better, but still not good enough. I feel like, again, they're not going to stay in the 3 spot. I would like to stay out of the play-in tournament. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's going to be hard, though, seeing some of the additions that have been made in the league in the last week. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, I will be happy that I finally will be seeing the Sacramento Kings NBA playoffs, and I will, for the first time ever, have a dog in the fight. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, probably your first time in your lifetime. You're gonna have a dog in the fight in the NBA playoffs. So that definitely will be nice for you. So we'll now go to the most disappointing team, and for me, it's the Atlanta Hawks. 29-29, adding DeJounte Murray. You felt like they were going to be up there with the top 5 teams in the East. They really aren't. They're behind the Knicks right now. They're in 8th place in the Eastern Conference, and we saw Trae Young lead a team to the conference finals. And I just think this team has been disappointing. I think 29-29. I think they need to be better than that, especially going out and trading for DeJounte Murray.
Yeah. They were second. I actually took Timberwolves. I thought this was going to be a top 4 team in the NBA. The Gobert trade just hasn't worked. Their defense has gotten a little bit worse this year than it was last year. I know Karl-Anthony Towns been out for a while, and I think he's supposed to be kind of.
But it's time for an Anthony Edwards to step up and win some games here.
Yes, that's kind of been the big thing. I know the scoring's improved for him a little bit more, but the 3-point percentage is at like 35%. Like you'd like that to increase just a little bit there. But I thought this was a team that was gonna be a top 4, and it just really hasn't. I just think the Gobert trade hasn't worked out like the way they thought it to. I know they just brought in Conley. They're trying to change some things around, but I felt like there was some hope here for the Timberwolves for the first time in a while. And there's 31-29, 8th in the West again. But I think it's hard now with, as you mentioned, when we're talking about the Kings, it's going to be tough to really move up now with some of the talent that the Suns got. I think the Clippers are playing better. The Mavericks are playing, they just got Doncic and Irving. They're going to get better. So I think it's going to be tough to kind of get by some of these teams and kind of try to climb out of this hole here. So, I'm a little bit disappointed the way the Timberwolves have looked so far this year.
That Gobert trade is a disaster. I don't know how you trade 4 first-round picks for a guy that's never averaged more than 16 points a game. That trade is a absolute disaster for the Timberwolves. That's a horrific trade for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Ainge knows how to talk teams into some crazy trades because
the Jazz robbed. They robbed the Timberwolves there.
Oh yeah, he definitely did there. Yeah, again, he is not because he came in to help the defense, but it really has not. He's not helped the defense much at all this year, and I think that's the alarming thing right now with that team. Absolutely.
Sorry about that, Mike. And the thing just changed. So we got our rookie of the year. Who is your pick? I'll go first. My pick for rookie of the year, I'm going to go with Paolo Banchero. I'm going with Paolo Banchero because I think he's done a really good job, almost averaging 20 a game for the Magic, and the Magic have found one of their guys. Him and Franz Wagner are their 2 guys going forward for this team in the future. And the Magic, they've started to make progress this year. They've made progress. Yeah, they're not great yet, but they definitely made progress, and Paolo Banchero has been a big part of that.
All right. Okay. So I know you probably disagree with this one, but you're gonna have to let me say my case. It's Keegan Murray, and this is the reason why. Because Banchero's been great, Green's been great, Bennett Matherin's been great. But the thing about Murray that none of the rest of those guys have is he's contributing for the playoff team. And again, he doesn't have to be the number 1 or 2 option. He's averaging 11, 12 points a game right now, but he'll put up 30 when he has to. He's already past it. He's shooting 41% from 3 so far this year. When he's had to, he'll put in, he'll be kind of their number 1 option the nights that I guess Sabonis is off or Barnes is off. And he's also last week against the Rockets, late in that game, he takes a big charge. He comes back down the floor, hits a go-ahead 3 that put him ahead for good. He's made good, smart, winning plays. I know the numbers do not jump off a page, but he's helping to contribute for a playoff team. And again, all these other awards, we always talk about, okay, their team's winning. Like we put them ahead because they're winning. Murray's on a team that's doing that He's starting, he's contributing, but yes, he doesn't have to be the number one or second guy. So to me, I have to go Murray because again, he's contributing for a team that's winning.
All right, I get that they're winning, but he's not the biggest reason why they're winning. Sabonis and Fox are the biggest reasons why they're winning. Paolo Banchero, he's arguably the best player in the Magic. Keegan Murray isn't even close to the best player in the Kings. That's why, yes, he's had a solid rookie season, but I'm not picking him for Rookie of the Year.
No, and I know why. Yeah, he has not been. Banchero's probably is a better player than he is right now. Banchero's the number one option. He's been unbelievable. I know Matherin's been too, and Jalen Green in Houston's been really good. But to me, I just feel like we always put these awards for winning. Like it's always like it's your team winning. Yeah, he may not be the biggest part of why they're winning, but he's made plays this year to help his team that's in a playoff spot to contribute.
I get it, but he's like the third best player on the team. So I'm not giving the Rookie of the Year to the third best player on the team. I'm just not going to do that. He's not the reason why. He's part of the reason why. He's not the biggest reason why the Kings are having the season they've had.
No, he's probably not, and I get that point. Those guys have been great. I just feel like we don't ever really see these rookies. There's a lot of them that, again, maybe like the supers, that haven't, especially recently, that haven't been, that, it takes them a couple years for the teams to actually be in playoff position. And we've been seeing that with Murray. Yes, he's not their top option most nights. Again, there's been some nights where he's put up 20, 30 points and he's been kind of their main guy. But yes, that doesn't have to happen every night. But again, he's had a couple games where he's gotten double-digit rebounds. Last night he had 6 assists. Like he's been doing a lot of stuff all around that's been helping the team win. But yes, he's not their number one option. I feel like this team's winning. He's contributing for a playoff team. He's starting for him. Yes, he's probably their number 3rd option, but I feel like that should be a good amount of the criteria, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll see. I just feel like Paolo Banchero has been a little bit better than him, but Keegan Murray's done a really good job of being a piece on a team that is growing in the Sacramento Kings. But we got to get to who our MVP is right now, our midseason MVP. And it's not, it's not midseason, but our MVP at the All-Star break. And I'm going with the guy to win his 3rd straight, and that's Jokic. Jokic averaging a triple-double a game, and most importantly, his team has the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and outside of the Suns, I think they have the second best chance to get to the finals in that conference. Having Murray and having Porter back is making a difference for this team. And Jokic is just an amazing player. The way he can handle the size, the way he can handle the ball, the way he rebounds the ball. The guy's averaging a triple-double per game. I'm going with Nicole is Jokic is my MVP right now.
Yeah, I am too. He's been unbelievable. He's such a special talent, unique talent. With the way he can handle the basketball, it just kind of ended up being as good as a passer as he is for his size. It's been unbelievable. He's so fun to watch. Again, it'd be they're in first place. They pretty much have that thing. They're up 5 games to the Grizzlies. They pretty much have that thing locked down. But yeah, he's got the full complementary of his team back this year after all of them were really banged up last year. So that helps. But yeah, averaging a triple-double, he's been unbelievable. He's such a fun player to watch. Yeah, the Nuggets, again, this is probably their best shot to get to the finals. It'd be really cool to see him because he, I feel like he goes a little bit under the radar because he does play for Denver. But he's such a sensational talent, and it'd be really cool to see that team get a chance to play in the NBA Finals this year.
Absolutely. Now that leads us to our next question. What is your prediction for the NBA Finals? And I'll start with you. Who do you got in the finals?
I got the Boston Celtics against the Phoenix Suns. I like the way that Tatum and Jaylen Brown have both been playing this year. Malcolm Brogdon's made a huge impact there off the bench, which is something that they've really needed, some consistency off that bench of scoring. I know the Bucks knocked them off last night in OT, but I think the Celtics all around, I'll take them. I like them a little bit more than the Bucks right now. And the Suns, I think the addition of Kevin Durant, we talked about it. I think right now that team's only get better, and they'll find a way to the finals.
I got a rematch of 2021. I got the Suns playing the Bucks, and I got the Suns beating the Bucks in the finals. I think the Suns have the best team in the Western Conference, and I think they get there this year. And I think for the Bucks, last year we forget that Middleton was don't forget that Middleton was out. And I think he's going to get back by playoff time. He's going to get back to what he was. And I think when he gets back to what he was, the Bucks got 5 guys that average double figures. They got the best player in the sport. That's why I got the Bucks going to the finals. But I do have the Suns getting revenge over them in the NBA finals.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Bucks. The Bucks getting there. Giannis getting another one. Yeah, I got this. I have the Suns knocking off the Celtics on that one. I think the Suns' talent a little bit better than the Celtics. But yeah, you got a guy, Kevin Durant, just elevates that team so much. And I think the Suns finally get over that hump and take on the NBA Finals.
All right. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the playoffs. We'll definitely be talking about that a ton starting in the middle of April. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. We'll be back next week talking about UConn's two big East games against Providence and St. John's and any NFL news that comes our way. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Meat, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.